Nigeria's population is growing with the speed of light, and our tables will soon be empty if we don't go back to farm. More reason why the program Back to Farm go to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria to make sure we bring to you topical issues that is going to foster food security in Nigeria. Today on Back to Farm, we are here in Niger State and we're going to be talking to a female farmer who will tell us a beginner's guide on growing beans for profit. My name is Joshua Ishaya. Welcome into yet another brand new episode of the program Back to Farm. Stay with us as we're going to go on this very beautiful expedition and experience. Stay with us.
My name is Mrs. Nooyi Emmanuel Barnabas Katanga.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You are a beans farmer, right?
Yes, I farm beans and other things, not only beans.
Okay, you farm other things as
Yes.
well. Okay. In trying to farm beans, what is the first thing you do?
The first thing I do, normally I will clear the farm, then I will look for that is the chemical I will use to clear the grass on the farm. The next thing, after getting the chemical and other things, maybe the ridges, or maybe I will make use of tractor in order to make the ridges. So after then I will employ workers that will help me and spray the farm. After spraying the farm with the chemical, I will make sure that the grass is dry. Maybe after like 3 days before I will now plant my beans.
So it takes 3 days before you now plant.
That is how I normally did it, because when I try the first time, after applying the chemical, maybe the first time I started farming beans, I planted the beans before applying the chemical, and it affected the beans. So since then, normally what I did is I will normally spray the chemical first. Maybe that is when I mix with powder, because the powder is very strong, that maybe normal Gramazon. So I will mix the powder with the Gramazon chemical, any type of Gramazon, because the general name. So I will now select the one based on the chemical I want to use on the farm. Then maybe I may apply atrazine, because it will kill the grass from the roots. Then after then, that is, I will give at least 3 days before I will now apply and plant the beans.
Okay.
Yes.
So when it comes to beans planting, how do you get your seed? That is iri. How do you know the best? Because if you want a good harvest, you need a very good seed. How do you get your seed before you bring to plant?
Okay, sometimes I will go to market and select the best, as in the one that is very neat. And sometimes maybe you may buy the one that already packaged, that is hybrid, that will clear it with the chemical and other things. So that one is very okay for planting. And sometimes you can buy from the market, then you now select the bad ones, then you plant your beans. Normally I do employ people, and sometimes even if they are there, I will make sure that I'm also included. I will plant the beans myself, so that everything, the way I want it to come out when growing, that is how I will make sure that I'm among them planting too, so that I will even show them how I want my own farm to look like. Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to gapping the gaps you give, how do you give the space in between from one reach to the other? What's the gap difference?
So honestly, I've never tried that, maybe using any tape or other things, but I use my leg. Then I will now show them. That is why I always make sure I'm included during the planting process. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So, in what month do you usually plant your beans? Because I'm made to understand that beans is not like maize. At what point did they plant it, and why is it so?
Okay, normally, and based on the weather, every location have their own weather. But this place, like in Niger State, especially Tafa local government, there is enough of rain every season. So normally, beans is normally planted during at least August 15. Okay. But sometimes I choose to plant my own from that 15, or maybe I will just wait when it is 18 or 28. That is when I will now start planting. Like this one that we are inside now. I planted these beans 22 of August. Okay. Yes.
Okay, this is almost like a month now.
Yes.
And look at the state
it has gotten to. Because there is enough rain here.
Okay. So now, after you've done the planting, what next happens?
Okay, after the planting, I will now wait for weeding. Like now, I'm thinking of weeding the grass, maybe by October. So immediately after the weeding, when the hands of the beans started spreading, that is when I will now start applying insecticide chemical.
Okay. Why do you apply insecticide chemical?
Because of we have weeds and pests that they used to destroy the leaves and the flower that is supposed to produce enough beans. So you have to start spreading the chemical in order to chase them away. That is why we normally apply chemical.
If you don't apply that chemical, what happens to your beans?
It will not look good, one, and the yield that you are expecting, you will not get it. Yes, because the weeds would destroy the leaves and the flowers of the beans, so you don't have enough quantity the way you are expecting. Yes.
Okay, so now after you've weed the grass and everything, what sort of fertilizer, or how many times do you put fertilizer on your beans farm?
Okay, I don't think beans need fertilizer. Depend on because they say everything needs fertilizer unless if you do not have the capacity of that fertilizer. But like beans, depend on the land, the grass. If the place is very it's fertile, so there is no need of applying fertilizer like these beans now. I think since we started farming beans, there is nothing like fertilizer, and normally you get enough quantity. Like now you see the leaves is very green. That shows that the land is very fertile. It's good for beans.
Now, is it that you actually find a soil expert to tell you the soil is good, or is it that you just look at the soil and you understand this soil is good for the beans? Because some people will have to pick the soil and take it to the lab and get it like some sort of investigation to find out which is the best plants to plant on. How did you know that this land is fertile for beans?
Normally this land, when I'm not up to that stage of maybe bringing someone to taste the ground or the sun and the farm, whether it's good for this, it's good for that. But based on my experience, in fact, right from when I was growing, my mother used to farm beans and other things. So that experience, I got it right from childhood. So even here now, we used to look at the grass as the sun and the ground, the farm. Normally, if the place is good, you see it, the sun will look very dark. That shows there is manure on the ground. So, and this place, in fact, there is this settlement of Fulani that they settle here for long. So that is why anything you plant it here, we normally whether with fertilizer, without fertilizer, even corn. If you plant it here, you still get enough quantity without applying fertilizer because there is manure here.
Sometimes when you plant your beans, maybe in the first day or second day, is it that you basically sometimes some birds come to dig this thing and bring them out? How are you able to deal with that sort of problem when growing your beans?
Yes, that is why I talk of that hybrids. It came with treatment already. So there is nothing like fly that will come and dig it. Yes. You give your beans only 2 days. If you planted your beans maybe today, when you come as the next morning, you just find out that it started coming up. That is the 3rd day you see it out.
It's shooting out.
Yes, it's already shooting out. That is, it spent only 2 days on the ground. Then the 3rd day to just see it with your own eyes.
Sometimes now there are some beans you planted and you find out that those ones didn't come out. What do you think is the problem?
Yes, of course. That is when you plant it in the local way. Maybe you bought it right from the market, directly from the market without peeling, as in removing the bad ones. So definitely it will not come out. Yes. It will die on the ground.
So sometimes now when you find out that it is spread out, what do you do to make sure that you are able to plant another one? Do you do transplanting?
Yes, of course. Not really transplanting, but I normally replant another one immediately. in order to cover the space, the gap in between, so that the farm will not be scanting anyhow. Yes.
True. Okay. Now, in your experience as you've been farming beans, what do you think is the major important thing in beans planting? Is it the farming? Is it the seeds? Or is it the weeding aspect? Which is the most important aspect? All of them are important. Explain to us.
Of course, none of them that is not important. I think all are important, because as a right farm, but the most important one that I normally concentrate is the seed, then followed by the planting process. Because if the planting is not okay, or is not based on how you want the gap to be, so definitely it will be scanty, and you not get much as in products the way you expect it. So the planting process is very important too. The way you want it to be, the gap in between, how you want the seeds to come out. Because me, I normally concentrate on the planting, even after getting the seeds. That is why I always include myself during the process of planting, to make sure that the planting is the way I want it. Yes.
So now, like, how much capital do you usually get to start this, from the process of it to the point where it's time to harvest?
Actually, I think we normally farm sometimes more than 2 hectares, 3 hectares, 4 hectares. But that one is for my boss. So normally, some things that he gave me the money directly, so I do keep account of that. But sometimes I'll ask him, okay, buy so things for me. So normally in that process, I don't normally ask him how much you bought this until after the farming process. Then we will now sit down. I will now bring my own calculation, what I bought with my own hand. Then I will now say it, okay, I bought this, I bought that. Then that one is how much you bought it, so that we include it during the process of calculation before now taking it out to market. So sometimes at least we do spend more than almost 400,000 sometimes. Yes. Especially now that the chemical is very expensive.
What is the major challenge you face in terms of farming beans?
One, yes, capital, and especially now that things are very expensive. So anybody that is trying to farm beans, you need enough capital if you want to make it in a large quantity.
Why enough capital, since you don't use fertilizer?
Yes, that insecticide is also costly. At least it's per liter now is almost 6,000. Some depend on the name and the product. Some will tell you 7,000. Only 1 liter. So imagine you are buying 2 cartons, 3 cartons. So you need enough money. Even the normal chemical for clearing the grass is very cost. Okay, like 5 cartons now, if you calculate, it's almost like getting to 150,000. Yes.
Okay. So now, at what point do the beans start growing and bringing out the beans seeds? At what point? At what month?
Okay, we planted beans August. So I'm expecting, like the one we started planting, the one we first planted, that is 15th of August. Now it started spreading. This is almost getting to 1 month plus, but it started already spreading hands. So any moment from October, I will expect to start applying my insecticide, because that is the moment I will start thinking of as seeing flowers.
Okay.
Yes.
Seeing flowers.
Yes.
So when you start seeing flowers, now what happens next?
That means that is to show that you are being started spreading hands. That flower is the beans, is the main beans. By the time the flower drop, you see there is beans on top. Yes.
Okay. So now, when it start bringing out flower, it means your beans is ready. So
yes.
At that stage, what happens next?
The next thing is for you to start applying chemical after every 3 days. At least if you have enough capital, money, enough chemical on the ground. So you try and apply chemical every 3 days.
Why?
Some normally apply it for 5 days, and some maybe for 1 week.
Why?
The reason why you apply that insecticide chemical, because of the insect on that normally come and suck the leaves. So you have to apply the chemical in order to chase them away or to kill them, so that your beans will look very good and fresh, so that it will not affect the beans inside. It will not spoil the beans.
So when it comes to finding the farmers that help you till the land, because with the way your hands are looking very fresh, I'm sure you are not the one who does the farming. So now, how do you get them? Is it that you go to get them from somewhere, or you know them, you've been working with them for some, or are they experts on their own? Tell us about your farmers.
Yes, sometimes we do work with children, adults, depend on their experience. Because sometimes if the grass is very long, you can't give children to help you clear the grass. So you need adults to help you weed the grass out. If not, in fact, you need a lot of money. Yes. Okay. Even though I told you that normally I do include myself during the process. So I myself can do the work more than the way you think. Yes. So, not really everything is money. Okay. Because I have my own personal small farm that I use to do it myself. Okay. Yes.
So now, you talked about spending close to 400,000 to grow like 3-4 hectares of land. How much gain do you think one will get after the harvest?
Of course, depend on the market. Maybe every year the prices used to change, and right now the way that things are very expensive, so we are expecting that beans will even add it, as in the money will add more than last year. Yes, because of I think last year we bought chemical around 18, 17, 15, but this year is when you are buying one chemical, you are buying at the rate of 37. So you can see there is a lot of difference. So in farming beans, I don't think that you lose. Yes, because there is profit on it. Yes.
Okay. So now let me ask you now. When it comes to after this whole process and everything, and then the bean starts sprouting. So when it comes to harvest, how do you do your harvesting?
Normally by November, you'll find out that the beans started drying one. Okay. So sometimes due to workers, and sometimes if I don't want to suffer myself or picking one. So no, what I normally did is I'll just allow it when it's dry. Maybe just the fresh one, you see it one. That is the time that I would now gather people at once. So like 1 hectare, it took us maybe like if I have 20 people, it will take us like just 3 days. Then we now finish.
Okay.
Yes.
So after that, now what next? What happens?
The next thing is the how to bring out your seed from the chaff and separate it.
How do you do that?
And normally we use people to, I don't even know how to
heat it.
Yes, to heat it, so that the seed will now separate from the chaff. So then after that one, then we'll now look for women. And they will bring tray, other chaff, something that they will chaff it out, as in they will clear the chaff, they will separate the chaff from the beans. Yes.
Okay. So you now bag it. How do you bag it?
Yes, we have bags that we normally buy. That bags, they are very good for saving beans because it has leather inside, like 2, and normally it comes with chemical. So I don't even know the name of the bags, but even after that one, we do normally we will now buy another chemical for insects, so that during the process of packaging, even with the leather, for safety, as in so that your beans will not, maybe you not come and regret it later, maybe insect has entered inside or something spoil it. So we make sure that two leather, they are inside the bags. Then we now add another chemical inside. So we have different chemical in the market if you go, but we normally use that bomb. Yes, so we tie it, we make sure each bag carry like 6 inside. So you can save it for as long as you want, even for like 6 months or more than that. Yes.
All right. So how do you get your market? People who buy your beans, is it that you go to look for them, or they come to look for you, or you take them out of Niger State, or how do you go about it?
Okay. Yes, there is a time that maybe if we are in need of, we want to sell, so we just enter market and we'll find buyers. Yes, but we normally have customers that they know we are used to selling beans, and sometimes we not only beans, we have other things that we used to sell. So when it is time, we just call their number. We have beans. Even if they are not ready to buy, they will connect with someone that will buy the beans. Yes.
All right. So now, what is the in your own now? If you are given the opportunity to request for something from government, or how do you think they are going to help to make beans farmers like you to be able to farm beans more, because there is this need for beans and more of beans. So in what aspect is it? In the aspect of insecticide, fertilizer, seedlings, or better say manpower? In what aspect would you want the government to probably help you?
Honestly, like now, if I'm given opportunity to request, I'll request for the land, I'll request for the manpower, insecticides, even the capital, because capital is everything. If you have money, even without government giving you the land to farm, you go and rent it. Yes, like now where I'm farming my own, it's not my own. So I do rent. And sometimes maybe if I farm for my boss, the remaining place you ask me to plant your own. Yes.
Okay, now I want to ask you, you are surely looking very good, so it means farming beans has been very good to you. Someone is watching and wants to also go into farm beans. What advice are you going to give the person?
Yes, farming.
Especially Nigerians are waiting for white collar jobs and everything. What is your advice to them? Or you just love doing agriculture? What brought you to this very point of becoming a beans farmer?
Okay. Not really that I studied agriculture in school. What I read it was business study that I read in school. So when I came to this town as a copper, after serving, after I serve, so I now discovered that no need of me to go back to home, as in that 800 then was very sweet. So I now think of, what if I go back home? What am I going to do? So I now decided to start looking for where to put myself. So I started teaching one school. Later then there is another company close to where I settled. So there I now discovered that they started employing workers. I went there looking for job, but Then they told me that they are not really they are not fully engaged now. But when it's ready, when they are ready, they will call me. So I now drop my number, hoping that maybe one day, because I used to go to teach, there was a lot of expensive, as in based on the transport. So I'm looking for where a place close to where I used to stay. Then I now discover, okay, one day I now call to find out. I was at home. I now call to find out whether if they restarted employment. So they now the manager now told me that up to now. So the following day, I don't know why came over then. Then he now told me that he came to our site to bought ginger. I was like, so you came to our site to buy ginger and you did not include me in your business. I'm farming ginger now, which is not true. Just I'm looking for a way, so that I'll be part of that business. And as God will make it, the following day, immediately he now called me that where am I? And I told him that I'm already back. Then he told me that they are about coming to buy ginger. And I told him, okay, sir, can I come and see you? He said yes. That was how it started. So we started with that business, ginger business. I took them to where they will buy the ginger, and they bought a lot of ginger, which I got my own commission. So from there, they now discovered that maybe this girl, she has experience on that ginger farming. Why not we should retain her so that she will supervise our farm? Even then, I've never farmed ginger in my life. Even then, I just only have experience of other farming because my mom used to farm. So then I started asking questions on phone. If they ask me this, I will call someone at home and I'll tell him and I will ask him. Then I will now reply them. That was how it started. Before you know it, I became master of farming ginger. Wow. And that was 2017. So we now started farming ginger. I was the supervisor of that ginger farm. So from there, they later see that yes, this girl already have experience on farming. So before then, there was a manager that is supervising the whole farm to that man. Then later, I now took over him because he's not even ready to settle down. So he used to come from Zaria. He's always up and down. So the farm is not normally good. So the man now said, okay, let me try me. So that was how we started. And before you knew it, everything was perfect. Okay. So that was how it all started. And before you knew it, I myself took that interest. I started farming on my own. Okay. And I started enjoying the money. When I farm, I will sell. Like me now, I don't like to cook only beans and eat because I don't like it. Rather, I will miss it small. Even inside rice, I used to miss it small. But I will farm ginger, I will farm beans. I will even give a lot of people. But even one cup from what I planted, I will not eat. Why? And so, just like that, I don't know why. Okay. And even to save beans, it's like if I save it in my room, it's like I will just spoil it, as it will later spoil. Okay. So I don't even use to keep it. If I want to sell, I will just sell the back, as in everything that I have. All right. So I will just sell it out. When I want to eat beans, I will go and buy one mudu because I don't like it. Okay. I don't know why, Sha.
Okay. Yes. So now, what is your advice to potential farmers, like someone who wants to go into beans farming like you and has very little capital? What can you tell him to do? What are the things that you advise him as an expert in beans farming now?
Yes, if you have little capital and you want to start farming, there is joy in farming because no matter how you go to market and buy, when you farm, you eat from it, you dash or you give someone, you show kindness to others that don't have, and they will appreciate it. So truly, farming is very good. If you have the small capital, just start even at your back of behind your house. You can start even small, and by the time you start, by the time you enjoy the small one you are eating from, you think of making it big. Because like me now, I always say that if I have money in my life, I will make sure I always farm. Okay. Yes. All right.
So now, what are your last words to people watching? Those Nigerians farmers who are watching, what are your words? I will advise the youth
and others not to wait for government that they want to get a job. There is money in farming. Just try and start it. You definitely enjoy and you smile at last.
Okay. This is Agricultural Research Council of Nigerian Television. The need for beans can never be overemphasized, as beans are used to make different delicacies in Nigerian homes. And more reason why we had to come as far as Niger State to make sure we bring to you the processes of growing a profitable beans farm in Nigeria. On that note, we will say a very goodbye on this episode of the program this week. See you same time, same station next week. Bye for now.